Hey, good morning, everybody. Iggy here, Mind of Iggy. Just Sunday, and I wanted to pop in, just say hi, and just talk a little bit about things that I've noticed. Things I noticed how support is rendered, how people support other people, how people support businesses, how other people support things. So, of course, over the years, throughout every country in the world, and mostly Western-style countries, there used to be little grocery stores, little farmers markets, little places where people would come. The bazaar, the lane of where you would shop and you just buy stuff. And then all of a sudden, as man got more smarter, I guess, or more greedy, they started to create bigger things, more attractive, more things. So before, the local grocery store was like your place to go and you hang out. And then the big stores came in and they started to attract more people that way, because most of the time they offered more goods and services, and they offered more things. And the appeal was different, and it was cool, and it was like, yeah. But now it's kind of standardized. You're part of it. You don't see too many small grocery stores and things like that. And then eventually, you have your superstores like Walmart, Costco's. You have all these huge corporations that, help destroy the the small business here in America, small business around the world. Churches are the same way. Churches do the same exact thing. On Easter, I went to visit our church in Pennsylvania, where my wife's from and my family's from. And if we weren't there, there would only been 5 people in that church. But down the street, they built this huge church, this big ass church. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, did you build it because there's just not enough room? There's only 585 people in Pennsylvania, Ohio. So I'm thinking to myself, so what's the allure of building such a grandiose church when you have all these little mini churches? And supposedly we're supposed to also be Christian. We're supposed to have this belief system, love thy neighbor and whatever. But I don't see, there's no mission for these small churches. There's no congregation. Some people in the church, these churches just say, hey, we're going to go support the Presbyterian church, and we're going to fill it up today. And we're going to drop some money in that church so they can fix their roof that they can't fix because they don't have the congregation enough money because they didn't build it. And it's destruction of, these small institutions. And this happens all over the country, all over the world. This isn't nothing new. But these mega churches, they spend millions of dollars on building these huge, humongous churches to house a lot of people. And it's not always completely full, but they house these huge churches, and then they destroy the infrastructure of the little church. The little church that would probably hold, 50 people, 60 people, maybe maximum 100 people. But, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm missing the boat. But I never see these big mega churches reaching out to these small churches and supporting them and saying, hey, we're going to send some of our congregation there tomorrow so they can pray with you and be with you and see how we can assist you. They talk about how they want to help the homeless, help the poor, help feed the people. And then yet they act just like these big-ass Walmarts and businesses. They just go in there and just take away and destroy and rip out. And eventually, the people have to conform. They either go to another church, drive away farther away, or they go to the big church that was built. Because it's a business, folks. Even churches are businesses. And if they don't make the money that they need to support their business, then you know what? They can't turn the lights on. And so this Presbyterian church in Pennsylvania, where my wife and my mother-in-law are from, one day will be closed. We'll close down because there's no congregation. There's nobody there to watch and see what's happening. And so the churches, these mega churches, I wish they would support these little mini churches, these small churches in these small towns, especially in these small towns where people are, they're hanging on to their traditions and their ideas and their beliefs. And then the mega churches come in and just destroy that, and they take that away. Now, granted, the mega churches are cool. They have rock music. They play, they dance. They have cafes in there and their internet and all this crap. They try to create a family, a dynamic that's beautiful. I get it. I understand what they're trying to do. But did they ever take in consideration that they're also destroying small town communities, churches, small town villages, churches, because they're building these huge ass churches in order to cater to bring everybody into one big house? But not everybody wants to go in a big house. Not everybody is designed to be in a big house. So a church like the Presbyterian Church in West Virginia one day will not be there anymore. It'll just be a historical monument to remember. Oh, I remember when we used to go to church there. Oh, it was so nice. Yeah, I remember. But that's terrible, that the destruction and the dilapidation of these institutions are done this way. Now, I'm sure mega churches help people and they're in their communities, and they do whatever they need to do to help. It's like Walmart. I'm sure Walmart helps people in their community and contribute dollars. But you know what? All these big institutions, these big ideas, these big concepts, they take away from the small business owner. And the church is a small business entity. So when a small church, like the Presbyterian Church in West Virginia, this is my example because that's my wife's family's from there, can't sustain itself because they have no congregation. Only 5 people come on Sundays, if that, because someone built a mega church not even 3 minutes from there, and everybody everybody wants to be in the cool place because it's cooler to be with God in that cool place versus in the old place where God's cool. Now I know 2 or more people present, God is there. I know those stories. I know that. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about how do you sustain, how do you help, how do you support your community and watch it not just get, fall apart, deteriorate. We're not going to stop these churches. We're not going to stop these Walmarts, these big stores, these big thinking monopoly type ideologies about stuff. They're going to continue. There's nothing we can do. But how can they help? How can they help this church? This roof is leaking. This roof is leaking. And they can't fix it because they don't have the income. They don't have the parishioners that they used to have one day, where people would donate their money, and that would go towards paying the minister, his family, for living, for preaching, and whatever else is left in the till will go to fix the maintenance around the building. But that's not what it is. It's sad to see. We drive by all throughout any part of Ohio, and you see all these empty churches up for sale because the community has changed and evolved or expanded in a direction where people thought bigger is better. Listen, bigger and better to connect with spirit or to God, whatever you want to relate to, doesn't make it bigger and better. It just makes a bigger production. That's all. That bigger production when someone's flaring their guitars and their drums, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, great. Congratulations. Okay. So you made a huge drum circle. All right. Hopefully that the essence is still there. The presence is there. That people understand that when we destroy the foundations of where we come from, those foundations don't come back. It's like the mini store. It was bound to change, right? It was bound to move, kind of like the church, right? It was bound to change and move. But it was kind of out of their hands. They really didn't have any control of how that was going to work. They really didn't have any ideology or any paradigm shift or idea or vision to know how to conquer. How do you fight a $1 billion industry, a $500 million industry that's making a lot more money? And so little churches and little stores and little towns disappear because of these creations of these mega churches, these mega ideologies, these mega, everything has to be big. Bigger is better, And it makes me sad to see all these little empty churches. Yeah, so it'll be someone's house one day. That's not the point. The point is this. When we start to erode the foundations of where we come from, who we are, and where we started, it starts to erode everything. There's still a little leak, A little leak can make a big havoc on a big structure. A little leak in a boat can sink it. It doesn't have to be a big gashing hole. So how do you control, how do you protect your community? How do you keep your community from going down the tubes? Let's build a mega church, let's build a Walmart, let's build something bigger. Let's put a big mega car dealership here. We're going to get everybody to come support. But that's not how it works, folks. Those ideas are good for the person who's making it and who's going to make money from it. You ain't making no money from it. You ain't making no money from the mega church. You ain't making no money from Walmart. You're not getting any cheaper. I guarantee you can go to Walmart right now and compare the prices to another store, and they're pretty much the same. this bull crap that they sell you. Oh yeah, you know what? You're gonna find better deals here. Yeah, on like things that you don't need. Yeah, oh yeah, you're gonna find God better here because God's gonna be here. You know? I don't buy it. Anyways, you get the idea. You get my point, what I'm trying to say. How do we protect our communities? How do we make the small entities, the small groups, the small things, how do we make that, how do we sustain that? I don't have the answer. But I know as we create bigger and better things, smaller and beautiful things disappear sometimes. And, you know, the ways of the old small church is going away because of the idea that bigger is better. That bigger is better, that we get everybody under one roof is bigger and better. So I ask these churches, these mega churches, go out and minister to the small church and support them, help them. Because there are people who have, because you're all supposed to be under Christ. You're all supposed to believe in salvation. You're supposed to believe that, you know, that's the way. And just because you have a different philosophy, different thinking, doesn't mean you can't support your brother or sister churches in that capacity. And this is the problem with humanity. We always find fault in different things. We always find these little nuances that are different from the other one. The reason why you don't participate, why you're not partaking in it. I get it. And you know, sometimes your community grows, and I get that. You need a bigger venue. I get that. So it's not like I'm dumb here and don't think about that stuff. Sometimes you have to make a bigger church in a smaller town because to house more people. But these little churches, they need support in some way or another. You know, you want to minister to your, you know, you have to minister also to your congregation, outside your congregation. You know, the congregation is not the people who just show up at your door. The congregation, you know, their parishioners aren't just those. Your parishioners are every human being who walks this path, who believes in this doctrine. Okay, so if that's what you resonate with, then you resonate. If you don't resonate with that, then fine. But I'll tell you, it'll come a time where no one will remember what happened. It will just be. And then everything is just the way it is. And so don't think that it can't happen in your town, your hometown, that your church one day will disappear because somebody thinks bigger is better. Don't think your small town grocery store will disappear because someone thinks a bigger Walmart or whatever kind of store is bigger and better. Is it bigger and better? Is it better? I don't know. Just more walking. More options. But either way, this is what free enterprise, what democracy looks like. What, you know, this is how people get rich off other people. Okay, I'm done. I think I made my point. All right, guys, take care. Have a good Sunday. Enjoy. Take care. Be well. And I will talk to you guys soon. See ya.